I got loyalty, got royalty inside my DNA. Cocaine quarter piece, got war and peace inside my DNA. I got power, poison, pain, and joy inside my DNA. I got hustle, though, ambition, flow inside my DNA. I was born like this, and born like this, immaculate conception. I transform like this, perform like this, wish out you a new weapon. I don't contemplate, I meditate, then off your fucking head.
Good evening.
Good evening, brother. Welcome back, man.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, man. So what's going on today, man? What we talking about, man? And what's on mind? We just gonna jump right into it because they already know. They already know who we are, man. I think
absolutely.
This is like what episode 6 or 7 or something like that,
there,
man.
we get up there.
So we getting it together. So but let's just make it official so we can do our thing. Welcome back. This is The Narrative. My name is Malcolm Yates,
And I'm Andrew Nelson.
All right, let's get into it, man. So what we got talking about today?
Man, so did you watch the Best Man series?
I did. I did. It was a good series too, man. It had a lot of things in that really stuck out to me.
Yeah.
And the good thing about the Best Man series is the men characters I can identify myself in each and every one of them sometimes, man. And that was the dope part about it.
Agreed.
But I did have some reservations on, I guess, the characters there between Sanaa Lathan and Taye Diggs.
Right. They was definitely the most controversial in the end for sure.
Yeah, and what really bothered me about that was Sanaa's part. Really, her name was Robin, right? Robin. Yeah. So I really wasn't feeling her taking the kids over to Africa, bro. I think that was wrong. I really don't feel like the way she did that was strategic. I think it was more out of spite.
Gotcha.
And I think, she tried to keep the door open and say, you can come visit them, X, Y, and Z.
Whenever.
But dog, really, you can't even get to Philly as often as you want. And we right here in Chester. So What makes you think you can get to Africa as much as you want to say?
Because they had the bread to buy a brownstone in Brooklyn outright.
Yeah.
And then was like, and then I wanna put I want to decide to buy this $1 million property, right? Commercial property.
Yeah.
Also in New York City. So I think they got the resources to hop a flight real quick.
Yeah, you'd buy $1 million brownstone. Right. But again, we all know when you be that successful, man, your time is very, very limited as it was shown. Right. So, and I think that was her issue because he had limited time.
So initially I was like, it was burning inside of me when she said, I'm taking the baby to Africa, right?
I was pissed.
It was burning inside of me. Mm-hmm. But then, fortunately, I couldn't watch them all through, right? Okay. So I was able to go through a little bit longer of a sitting with me period.
So you can
after
digest
that episode,
it
and I digested it,
right?
Okay.
Okay.
So once I digested it, this was where I was like, all right, I don't think she was wrong, and I'm gonna show why, right? So I think that she understood because she said it, right? Okay. She said that I'll never be, like you'll love me, but I'll never come before your work. So dig this, right? If she had did some kind of custody agreement, right, to where there's visitation, right? How involved was he gonna be? Because I feel like his character, all across the board, showed that. Because even with old girl, when they was doing the ball pulling it apart, right? Yeah. When she was like, he put the little piece in there at the end and win the prize. True. But my man wanted a Pulitzer. Yeah. And all of his, he sold his best friend out. Right? Yeah. For some bread. Yeah. Then sold his family out, kind of. Yeah. Right? Yeah. But his friend family group, right, with the merch situation. So now they air it out on the screen. Yeah. Even though they was cool with it, they supported him and loved him. Okay. Right? And then, so now he don't really got no time for Robin. Okay. No time for the baby girl. Yeah. She already raising her. And then this is where it's key. To her to say like, all right, I'm going to compromise and not go to Africa means that I'm literally giving up the one thing that I was excited about doing to move my life forward when all I did was support you in your shit forever. So I could kind of see that. And Drewski could kind of relate to that. Word. When I was married, it was a similar situation. I was focused on my career. Now, me being focused on my career was really me avoiding my emotional issues, right? So that's a whole different perspective. Okay. But I know what it looks like to be the guy where it's like, all right, you driven, right? And you focused on your career and you ain't letting, like, you got laser focus.
True.
Right? Stuff gonna last.
It does. And I'm with you on that because I think we are, and I think we're both the same when it comes down to that, right? Yeah. We're laser focused on our career and we do it for our families, right?
Right.
And that's real talk. Like, you know, we want to be able to provide the best for our families. And when we get into that groove of finding our passion, finding our career, and you start to see the fruits of your labors pay off, you want to continue to do so. You know, you're able to put your kids in certain schools, you'll be able to live in certain places, and be able to provide things that you grew up not having.
Correct.
But on the flip side of that, though, not even the flip side, but going back to Robin, he, you know, as he said to her, yo, you're a little flighty. You chase something, you catch it, and you let it go. You have a passion, you have a interest in something, then you let it go. So,
but she kicked it back and was like, that was years ago. I've been focused on cooking and learning cooking, and that's a fact. She built the business around it.
She was focused on old boy at the market, though. That's my thought.
That's true. That's true too. Absolutely.
Yeah, she was focused on homeboy. That's why she went to Africa. But no. But you're right. And she was saying that was
this is an extension of that.
Now this is me now. And in marriage and in relationships, we do die and grow.
Right.
You know, and that's and I think that's some of the things where.
I wish there was a dong for that.
Yeah, man.
Die and grow.
We die each time you
shedding
a death,
a different
and a birth.
It's an evolution.
You know, because like as the evolution of men, an evolution of a person.
Absolutely.
You know, I always say the same. The Malcolm at 20 ain't the Malcolm at 25. Facts. And the Malcolm at 25 damn sure ain't 30.
Because I'm not the same.
I'm not the same.
I'm not the same.
And the Malcolm at 30 is not the same guy here at 40.
My thought process
Absolutely.
Is different. My goals are different.
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely.
So my mindset is different. And each time you grow as a person, your relationship needs to grow as well. Right. So that old relationship that what you used to love or what you used to want and what you used to desire in your mate, now it's changed. Right. So now that relationship portion of it has to die and something new has to grow. So you got to consistently grow or consistently fall back in love with the person you building with. Right. And I think with that relationship there is that they decided not to grow together and independently. I don't really feel like.
Did they decide that though, or did he always have a wall up because
he was a little stingy?
He settled with Robin.
He did settle because he wanted Nia.
He wanted old girl.
Nia was
So
Nia was bad too.
Was that her? Did she decide to grow apart from him, or was she always literally there per his word? She's a great partner, very supportive, and all that. Bro, he was the asshole. He was the one that was selfish.
He was selfish, but I also feel like there was too much competition.
They don't disagree with that. They definitely competed instead of
all the time. You're in competition, and I also feel like
that's him because he competed with everybody.
But also in relationships, it's okay to push one another. Yeah. It's okay to have drive, but it shouldn't really compete with one another, right? And I think also in any type of relationship, people go through winning seasons, right? So this might be my winning season. Right. So now you just go ahead and play passenger. Right. And then when it's your winning season, then I go play passenger. Right. But you can't get mad if the other person's winning season is a little bit longer than yours, right? And I think that's what happens in relationships. I think she was mad that his winning season was a little longer. It had a little bit more fanfare. And
I get that. Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Because she always say, "You little rider, you little Hollywood," all that little stuff. That also showed like jealousy, a little bit of contention. So I think she had that little competition, and then she always felt like she couldn't be Nia Long. Right. And you're right.
Because it was there.
It was there.
She didn't feel that. She saw that.
She did see it. I mean, but it's tough, man, because when someone's y'all have that friendship over that long time, the new person will never have those memories, right?
I mean, that's a fact. But also, we already know from reading the scenario, so I don't know why they didn't work out because it always was something in the way, and I feel like he was just too pussy to speak.
Yeah, I do.
I'm honest.
No. I think he was. He never really wanted to put him on the table. I always say, man, as a man, you just gotta tell your truth, man. Right. Put him on the table.
That's where it was at. Like, he kept looking for the perfect opportunity and never spoke up. And she was like, all right, well, look, if you're not gonna speak up, don't expect me. Like, I'm not chasing you.
Word.
But so he liked that.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And then it stuck.
Yeah.
So then now he gets married and tries to move on, right? But That's why the connection is never there. Like they was doing, basically their divorce was set, right? And I feel like it was mostly because he was never there. Because she was there. She was in.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So now, granted, whatever came as a result of that, like, of course, that's like fruit from a bad tree, right?
Yeah.
Like, because that's just the produce of, like, so all of that came because they was never really a good fit.
Yeah.
Because he was never there.
I think it was a subtle, you know. But
but it had to been something inside of her because it's like, why did you attract that energy?
Yeah.
And then also, why did you stick around and it was okay for so many years and then now it's not okay? So that's an element of that in there too.
But you know what though, and this might be a little controversial, but you pick your mate is to build with, right?
Right.
So they're there to help out. They call it a helpmate.
That's correct.
So for the deficiencies that you have in your life, you pick your partner to help out with that, right? Absolutely. So you have to pick the person, you know, because love,
when you're doing that.
you know, love is cool, lust is good, sex is great,
Right.
but when you start to look at the building of a relationship and the longevity of it, I
That's
picked
what
you
matters.
for a reason, right? I picked you because I know that one, you're a great mother. I picked you because I know that you're a great wife and you have these attributes. And I picked you because if I'm an introvert and you're an extrovert, that balances us out. If I got to always be in these streets and doing the work that I have to do, or I always have to work, and your job doesn't really require that, then we can balance that as far as you taking care of what we need to, at home with the baby and the kids, and as my career continue to keep me out of the house, and then it'll vice versa or switch up, and we'll take responsibilities where you lack, I'll pick up on. So I really feel like that's should be the foundation of a relationship, man. Like, because I think we pick on the wrong things, and then we also provide these expectations to folks that, one, you probably can't live up to, two, you know that they're going to fail, and then when that person it got to be crazy, right? You know that the expectation you put on somebody that they're going to fail,
Right.
You know it.
Right.
I know that you can't. I'm just saying.
Once you have wisdom. In a young age,
you don't, right?
might have expectations that you put on people,
and you don't even know. But self-actualization and you start to realize these things. Like, I know you're going to fail doing this, but it has to be crazy for me to still want you to succeed at that expectation, and then get angry when you fail, when I knew you were going to fail from the very start.
Right.
So now, who is it? Is it me? Is it the person that failed the expectations, the one that's the wrong one, or is it me for putting that on you? Because I shouldn't put that book bag on you. I shouldn't put that on you.
I think if we relate this back to the movie, right? He had an expectation of her to be Jordan.
Yeah.
And she could never be Jordan.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
He wanted Jordan and he married her. And was like, yo, fill these shoes. She couldn't fill the shoes, so he never was happy, and he always wanted Jordan.
Yeah.
Right? And she was like, you know what? I'm tired of playing this game. I'm done, right? Because you're not going to change, and that's okay, right? But and then now I'm not going to be like, all right, I'm done with you, but still suffer quietly because I'm missing out on my dream. I choose me now.
We suffer quietly, bro.
Right.
Yeah.
And she refused to do it anymore because she had already done it, trying to fill somebody else's shoes for a long time.
Yeah.
So I see that.
Yeah, she definitely.
So I don't think we can call that wrong.
Was
it impulsive?
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. See, knee-jerk
I'm
reactions.
going to say maybe because we don't know how many of them 12 years that she was married that she thought about the plan, right? We don't know how knee-jerk it was. We know that it looked like it was because it kind of blindsided us like, whoa, right? But really what I saw ultimately was a mom saying like, this is what I can do to provide a better for my life. Because that was point one. Like, I think that she was like, all right, I'm done and I'm going to choose my dream.
So why?
And then point two, can't you relate to her experience on why she said, I want to leave as a black person in America?
Oh, man.
And I want to raise my children amongst somebody where they can feel love based on how they was born naturally,
bro,
as opposed to being ostracized.
I just said this on my social media. I said, dog, did I miss the call back home? Because I saw that. Because every time I see a Snapchat or whatever, everyone was in Ghana. I felt like so missed out, right? And then also, you're right, man, because that feeling is something that you thrive. You just. And
she like, all right, we was there in the summertime. I saw how she responded. You missed it.
Yeah.
Because you ain't come.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So now you could tell me whatever you want to tell me, but I know better. Right?
Word.
And I choose this as the best plan for our daughter.
Yeah.
get on board because you can come, and if you actually show up this time, you'll realize what I've been trying to tell you.
I get that, but why you can't leave my daughter home?
Because so going back to the original point, because if I leave her with you, Hart,
what would change?
What's gonna change, right? Yeah. Except now my daughter is home alone because you forgot because you was writing too much, and you telling her, sorry, baby, I'm gonna buy you ice cream, right? I'm gonna take you out because she spent the night alone because you was writing your Pulitzer.
You know what though, right? and that's true because
because he wasn't gonna.
As
change.
you say that, man, you know, you look at it, and you might be being a little selfish with that, right? Yeah. But nobody wants their child away from them, man. But
I respect that.
You are right, because if it was just him, and you're still focused on your career, right, your daughter will suffer. Right. And I'm reflecting on myself with this, right? Because I know my wife is very, very instrumental on the rearing of Camille, and I look at it like, dang, if it was just me. As much as I got to go to Harrisburg, D.C., down to Philly, do this, politics, that, how much time would I actually have if it was just her and I? And I would do her a disservice.
That's a fact.
You know what I'm saying? And I think that's what he finally realized by selling the pig. But yeah.
He realized how good of a kid she was.
Yeah, man.
And he knew that he was selfish. And he's like, yo, we the exact opposite. Because I'd have never even thought in a second to give Bull my sandwich. Right? Because that's what we know. That's what he was thinking. Right? It was definitely conveyed. It wasn't said, but it was there. And he like, here she is, walking. I'm going to get a whole thing, no questions asked. Right? Her approach and everything here. I'm giving you a choice in this too. Right? You got agency. Yeah. She know this as a 7-year-old.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So he knows, like, all right, I ain't had no skin in this game.
Yeah, man.
She's like this because her mom made it.
And I don't want to stifle that, right? I don't want to, you know.
He knew it. He knew she was right.
Yeah, I don't want to put that ceiling on my kid's growth. You are right.
And then my last question, I say this is, my last one, and I ain't got no more. Why couldn't he be a writer in Africa?
Oh, he could. He just didn't want to. He didn't want to. And see, that goes back to what I always say, like, the acronym. I'll break down MAN in an acronym, MAN, right? And I say it as it's called mandatory action when it's absolutely necessary. Now, there's 2 A's in there, but you got to think about it. As being a man, we have to make that mandatory action because it's absolutely necessary. Right. And it's never a perfect timing, and it's never really on our choosing, but we have to make that mandatory action. What was that mandatory action for him? Signing the papers for her to go over there, right? Or you know, he had to man up and make that decision and tell Robin, like, all right, maybe you're not the one. And for us, you know, when I hear a manning up, that's what you got to do. You got to make that mandatory action because what is absolutely necessary for his daughter development, absolutely necessary for his wife development, absolutely necessary for his sanity, man.
He knew it.
Yeah,
and it's all right.
Yeah, but I'll be just like him and though. Yeah, but I'll be just like him though, bro. I'll be in the room in the dark, drunk, sick out my damn mind, bro.
So the difference is though, Drewski to win to Africa.
You want to Africa?
Yeah, I'd win.
Yeah.
Right.
I probably would have too. Nah. So, yeah, I probably would have too.
Put him, bro. I lived in Hawaii for 3.5 years.
Okay.
Right. I lived in Iraq for 8 months. I lived in Afghanistan for 8 months.
Word.
I lived in South Carolina for 2 years.
So you just globe trotting.
North Carolina for 3 years.
You just globe trotting.
Right. So I'm the epitome of, all right, I'm out. Right?
Yeah.
I'm cool with that.
I'm good with that. I'll move, but I just didn't want to be forced to.
My work, but that's the thing though, right? At what point in marriage, and like I'm saying this now because I can look back on it after I have a unsuccessful marriage, right? But we was together for 10 years and we had a lot of strategies to make that shit work. Yeah, man. Right? So I learned a lot. And then now coming back healing, I'm able to look back on it and like, yo, I made mistakes here, there, right? So one of the mistakes I realized is, right, the reason why it feels forced, that's just ego. Because she wasn't forcing him. She gave him a choice. She gave him agency. She tried. It was time. She tried to convince him. And then when they broke up, she said, all right, well, I'm out.
You're right, because nobody really likes to be told what to do or forced into a hand.
He felt forced, but the only reason he felt forced is because it went against what he wanted. Because first of all, he knew he wanted Jordan.
Okay.
And Jordan ain't in Africa.
Nah.
Right?
Nah.
So I can't go to Africa when I want Jordan.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. I'm not leaving to go. That's what that was about. He was stuck because he was stuck in his comfort zone in his world.
True that.
I wanted what I wanted. She didn't try to force him. She tried to sell him. But so now compromise.
She pushed his hand though, just a little bit. But the baby card is the.
But the baby card was after the divorce, so I'm not counting that as forcing. Like that was more so like I'm going with her without you, which I could respect that because she chose herself. She chose her passion.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And West African food is phenomenal.
Africa is phenomenal from what I see, and I'm going to get there.
I'm going to cook there. I'm going to have somewhere where I want to live. And so again, she was like, yo, we can go for some time in the summer. She was willing to negotiate to a portion of the summer, and then it turned into he didn't come at all.
But listen, if there's another series and she's back in 6 months, then he was absolutely right.
I agree with that.
Oh man, but yeah, I like that, man.
Out there, though.
Yeah, he should, and as every father should do, man, to scorch earth for their children, man.
I agree with that.
And sometimes we got to suck it up and make the right decision, whether it's comfortable or not.
Right.
You know,
and that's me, because there ain't no scenario where I'm gonna be without my kids.
Without a shadow of a doubt, bro.
Right. So I ain't built like Hart.
No, right? I'm trying to get there, man.
I take an active role in them babies' lives.
No, I'm not built like Harp is. I was just talking about the pockets, though. I'm trying to get to that pocket. Right. I don't want to brownstone
I'm built like Harp. I'm just waiting on their bank account to catch up. You feel me? Like we well on the way.
Yeah, I'm built like Harp. We just waiting for Navy Federal to agree.
Right. That's all. It's just a little small accounting imbalance. Yeah, it's on the way.
It's a comma miscalculation.
It's not even a miscalculation. It's on the way. It's in transit.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's on the way.
Yeah, they forgot to put one in there for me, man.
The health and wealth is on the way.
Yeah, absolutely, bro. I'm with you.
It's waiting on us.
I'm with you on that, man. I'm with you on that. Yeah, man. You know, and able to get there is how though. Like, how do we, you know, as we transition to those zeros,
right?
You know, growing up, they always kind of told us to go to college,
right? Get an education.
Get that education. Go to school.
Trap your body, but they can't lock your mind. This is
why I wanted to say it, because something I read the other day, they said, have you noticed that the college education lost its value
when
the
black people
minute that a lot of black folks had to get the degree?
Yes, sir.
Ooh, that's a
well,
word.
Hope say men lie, women lie, numbers
don't. And you start to look, what can a bachelor degree get you nowadays? I don't know. Shoot, everybody got is like a high school diploma.
$30,000-$40,000 job.
Yo, right? And I seen that on Indeed. It was like master's degree required, $15 an hour. Dog, it costs almost $65,000 to get a master's degree.
Right.
So you trying to tell me you can't even pay my salary?
At least.
You can't even pay what I paid for?
Right.
For this job? Come on, man. Come on. So I just wanted to just pose the question. Really, how valuable is a college degree?
Right. So listen, right. So I'm gonna take you into the Nelson household.
Okay.
So the Nelson kids get taught to this day, right now, right? They understand that if they go into college, it's for STEM, right? Now I know a lot of people are gonna be mad at me about this, and that's okay, right? Do your economics however you like.
It's your house,
right? But so I'm teaching them because this is based off the market.
Okay.
If it's not a STEM related job, you not likely to see return on your investment. Word. So now let's put on the MBA professor hat, right? A college degree is an investment in the future. It's a business loan. I want to say that my man Dr. Umar was the first person I heard talk about it in terms of that, right? It's a business loan, right? And however large of the loan, it's variable, right? It can go from anywhere from $20K, right, on the low end for a degree, right, up to $500,000, right, for the same bachelor's degree, right, on the same information.
Right.
So the difference is brand, right, and access to network. But brand and access to network is irrelevant if you're not in said network, because we love to dangle around access like that shit matters, right? Because I could rub elbows with you and then you could walk away and never do business with me.
Never talk to me again.
Never talk to me again. So now the cost is variable and the effect is variable. Keep it Dougie, right?
Okay.
So if you got variable cost and variable effect, how do you extract the most value out of this investment?
Okay.
I'm gonna get the most bang for my buck. Right? I'm going to go to a school with the largest network at the lowest cost. Largest because I need to cast my net wide because it's strength in numbers, and the lowest cost. So I'm taking care of those economics part. I ain't talked to them about that, but they understand it's an investment. I'm giving this for the benefit of the viewers, right? So STEM is the one where the market shows that in spite of your color, right, you can do exceptionally well in STEM degrees as far as the marketplace value is concerned on how much you get paid.
Break down STEM for the people though.
It's science, technology, engineering, mathematics or mechanics, right? And then I'm going to add in coding, right? Because that's still going to fall under technology.
That's on the tech, yep.
So one of those, but I want to specifically say coding because that's the new language, right? And history shows that when you're behind and deficient in the command of language, especially the language of the time, you fall in the underclass. Word. Wink, wink. Right? Learn code.
Learn code. Before you go on, did you know that we were coding back in the day?
Absolutely. With MySpace.
Yeah. When we created
Millennials. We're the first ones, bro. You know what I'm saying? We're the first ones.
We had to put in the song here, code that there. That's coding.
What was it before then, though? There was another one before. Black Planet.
Black Planet
was
when you had to
one where
the code inside the back of it. You created your
all
own
of that
page.
Was code. That's exactly what that is.
That's right.
That was JavaScript. Right?
Y'all was
and then now it turned into
the
HTML, or then it came HTML, and now they got all kind of stuff.
So let's not be scared of it. You was doing it back in the day when you wanted that song to play on your MySpace.
Right.
Go ahead.
Embrace it. Good segue. So STEM degrees, that's the one where we're going to get return, right? Return on our investment based on market data, right? Not Drewski's opinion. Now, can you do other disciplines and be successful? Yes, but we going back to that varying cost and varying effect, right? So large numbers, I'm speaking very generally, right? STEM is the path. So that's what I'm teaching my kids, right? So if you're going to college, it's going to be STEM, right? And then we're going to look for a school with the largest network, right? At the lowest cost, right?
That's the hardest part, though.
And scholarships. It is. But now they got universal scholarships where it's like, applications and stuff where you could cast your net wider. The use of technology has made this process way less rigorous than when we was going through it.
Because I did learn that, and I seen this, like the Ivy League schools, the education is great and all that, but their network is out of this world.
It's out of this world.
Penn, Princeton, those like
shout out to Pur who want to go to UPenn for med school.
Word, see, you know what I'm saying? And those, the network alone, like I remember talking to a student, he was playing basketball. You know, Penn basketball players, no disrespect, but you know, a lot of them don't necessarily get to the next level, right?
Right.
And he was like, well, you know,
at least not in sports.
Yeah, not in sports. Not in sports. He was like, well, you know, I'm really just a sophomore. I don't really see this going anywhere. But my roommate's father owns a company, and he told me once I graduate, I could start off as, you know, mid-level management, making around 6 figures.
Boom.
Whoa. You got a job
already? That's not just access to the network. That's the network at work.
That's the network where your roommate's father gives you a job, right? So that network is key when it comes down to those big institutions.
Right.
And you're right that the larger institution with the larger network is very, very important.
Right, because that's going to give you the most diversity by numbers usually, right? And furthermore, because it's just a numbers game, right? For every 1,000 people that's going to tell me no, at least one going to tell me yes. So I'm going to go to the largest school to get the most yeses.
You're right about that.
Simple numbers.
You're right about that.
Right?
You're right about that.
So that's the approach I taught them with that. But then, so now what I encourage is, furthermore in the glimpse of the Nelson household, right? Start a business or learn a trade, right? And shout out to co-parenting, successful co-parenting. Triana agrees with this, and we have the same exact approach. And like we both give ideas and play our role to where ultimately the kids learn. So she teach them what she teach them and brings mad value. I teach them what I teach them. It brings mad value. In the end, the end product is they getting a consistent, right, education on what's going to be the best decisions to the thought processes for them to make decisions, right? And give them the game. Because really, that's really that I like what's his name, man? Not Bone Crusher. The guy from Atlanta.
Killer Mike,
yeah. Killer Mike said we owe it to our kids to give them the reality and help them think about ways to make realistic money. Yeah. And I agree with that.
Wait, with that same mindset though, right? I definitely champion entrepreneurship.
Yeah.
But is everyone an entrepreneur?
No. It ain't for everybody.
It's not.
Right? But you know what is for everybody? Making money.
Making money.
Right. And the best way to make money is to leverage other people's time or sell products and goods.
That's right.
Right?
That's right.
So no, being an entrepreneur ain't for everybody.
Yeah.
But whether it's for you or not, if you can do it,
do it. Because it's a killer game out there, and entrepreneurship, man, is not for the weak. It's not. And right. you can't be lazy, and that's one of the things. You have to have a killer work ethic and the desire and passion to make sure that your product or your company is to be successful. But when you start talking about the college degrees, though, because I agree with the STEM,
yep.
But for those who are in now, right, who may not be in the STEM, and those who are maybe graduating, right, because I say go into STEM because those are the jobs that's going to be here for the long run,
right. And watch the market, right, because you got the Bureau of Labor and Statistics, right? They have jobs data.
Yeah.
Right? They show all of the deficits in each industry. It's broken down. Click on it. What field you want to get into. You don't care. You just want to make some money. Go to where there's the shortfalls at.
Exactly.
Feel the need.
Because technology is going, as you see things start to replace us as humans, right? The technology at McDonald's, you can go ahead and push an order. At Wawa, you can start doing your own self-checkout.
Right.
You know, there's going to have to be someone who want to code that, to repair that, to want to maintain that and sustain that.
Right.
So that's why STEM is really, really important, because now you got to start looking at the jobs that the computers need humans to fix, right? So that's a good idea to do.
Absolutely.
But also
back to that coding.
Yeah. But also for those, and I told my daughter this, she in school.
The new gold rush.
Exactly. And I told her, I says, you know, one of the things that I say our generation, because I think us, maybe the millennials and Generation X, we are the very first ones who parents really pushed us to go to college, right? Like, make sure you go.
Like, that's all I heard.
But they told us without really having a background or an understanding of what college meant, right?
Right.
So they just said, just go.
Right.
And
because they didn't know.
They didn't know, but
they just based it on what they thought was best. Because they was able to see it from their field.
From their field.
Everybody who making money got degrees.
Exactly. Oh, my boss got a degree. He's making money. My manager has this. So just if you just go to college, I guarantee you get it, right? But they don't never necessarily give us the game plan or the blueprint, right? So then we get to college, and they give us these basic general degrees.
Yes.
Oh, I just got a degree in business management. What does that mean? Business management and what? Oh, I got a degree in communications.
Right.
What are you communicating?
Right.
So now
qualifies you to have general knowledge on the field.
So that just makes you a part of the crowd. So now what I tell my daughter, and I tell everyone in the Yates household, is, look, if you're going to get a degree and you're going for a major, let's specify. Let's look at, again, the statistics on what matters the most.
Absolutely.
So if you're going to do communications, where in it is going to do? Are you going to do like journalism, and then you start breaking that down as maybe like local government, or are you going to do some marketing research and data statistics?
And then you need to map your steps.
Exactly.
Yep.
Because the niche, although may not get you. May not make you as marketable as someone with a broad degree. You can still get the same job. That if you got a business management degree and I got a business or engineering degree, and I just need a job, we're both going to get hired.
Right.
But guess what's going to happen? Now they're looking for someone inside engineering. Right. So now that $50,000 that you and I was both making, now I'm moving up to 80 or 90 because I got a little bit specificity or specialization in my degree.
Right.
So when you start looking at that, go deeper. Just don't get no broad degree. Just don't get something that's just a umbrella, because then what that does is just still make you fit in with the crowd. Right. We don't fit in. I don't fit in.
But this is good that we having this conversation, right? Because so Hove, they said a midget standing on the giant shoulder could see much further than a giant, right?
That's right.
So a lot of people can argue whatever they want, but one thing we could say about our past that we had was our past, they held the line so that way we could be here, right?
That's right.
So now every generation we advance a little bit further, we push it a little bit further where we leave our mark at.
That is the truth.
So where we have old heads that had the access to give the game like we giving right now. Now we the old heads.
We the old heads. That's another thing, dog. We are the old heads now. Let's get it. If you are 30 and older, I'm sorry, y'all 30 years, you the old head. Right. Because if you go out there, them young boys gonna call you.
They are. It's already going down. Right. They moving out of the way. They open up doors. They showing respect. It's like
my bad. My bad, Unc.
We the same.
Who's Unc? I ain't no Unc.
Right.
But I'm Unc. I got this grays. I'm Unc.
Right.
I still wear a fitted hat.
Right.
I know the young boys are like, you still wear a fitted, but hey, this what?
Right.
Because back in the day, man, when the hats was out, they had the you remember the snapbacks was in the bin in the supermarket.
Right.
And your mom
now they the famous ones. Now they the ones that everybody love.
Yeah. And your mom would buy them because they was only $10.
Right. And you be
go
sick.
back to school
sick.
And they'll unsnap that John and throw it on the ground.
Yep.
That's why for me, I'm always gonna wear fitted.
Right.
Because I got some snapbacks, I ain't gonna lie to you, but you know, that resonates with me, man. Like,
I get it.
You know,
I get it. But the game changed.
But yeah, now the game changes. But the thing is, now we're the old heads and we have the information.
Right. So now we can give them a plan.
That's right. We got the blueprint.
And then so now they're gonna be able to raise their kids that much stronger.
Absolutely. Right. And we know how to be entrepreneurial. We know how to be. You know, we know what to do when we're in college. Right. Now we know what to do as being an owner of things. We know how to be in C levels.
Right.
So now we got to start giving that game to our children.
And when you do that, you teach them how to think critically.
Critical thinking is necessary.
On a big picture scale.
That's right.
And that's where we lack at, right? So then now we start setting stuff up, but also giving them the game. Like, this is why you need to teach your children, right? Because so we had our culture stolen from us, right? Man. So now, fortunately, here we are, stolen from us, right? So now, fortunately, we in a time and a place to where now we got enough generations behind us, right? And enough stability underneath us to where we're rebuilding these cultural things, right? So now you well-read enough, I'm well-read enough to where we could understand, like, all right, it's what you instill in how these kids can think, right? How they observe the world, right? And you start giving them things that it's like, all right, teach them. Like, listen, you're going to have kids, and you're going to want to teach them same things, right? That's shaping the culture. So now my son is seeing how I parent, and he don't know no other way of how to be a dad, right? So he going to at least mimic that, hopefully, right? Provided I ain't pass on my sins, right? And then the same thing with my daughters, they going to see how I parent, and they going to look for that in the mate. Right? And then also now we get to teach them and show them the importance of having your parents meet your mate, right? Because like you said, it is about choosing the person who's going to be a right fit for you to build in. Man. And why are we taking on that mantle to do it alone when individual thought has never done anything for us?
Never did
right?
anything.
It's been the community strength that has gotten us through from the time previous to even Homo sapien. When we was before evolution to Homo sapien. Absolutely. It was the collective.
We need one another, and that's what we need. Also, like you said, now each family has that foundation, and we all has that as a people now in this day and age, right? Right. But guess what? We don't really necessarily have. We don't have that collaborative spirit again. Right. So that's
but it's coming back though, and hard times gonna force that, right? Because hard times are coming.
Because that village is what we need,
right?
And my saying is, let's not recreate the wheel. Let's just add better rubber to the tire,
right?
So instead of using that Michelin, we're gonna put that Pirelli on it, and we're gonna make it happen,
right?
And that's been my mindset forever. So if
we behind, so could we build a hydraulic system too?
Yeah, we could do that.
My man.
Absolutely.
Right. Because we got to stop moving by just sheer force.
Yeah.
We need some hydraulics.
I dig it.
So we can leverage our group power.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with that. I agree with that, man. I agree with that.
I ain't mean to cut you off.
No. And as we continue to build together, and if I know you got it and you're good in this area, I'm going to holler at you and say, yo, Drew, listen, I got this business. I know you're good at this specialty.
Right.
Can we collaborate and do business together?
Right.
And that what that does is, one, recycle the dollars into our community, and then also continue to build us as a unit, and then also continue to make sure that our community has the economics behind it.
Right.
You know, because a lot of times we get up and we get out and we don't utilize.
Because that's the foundational floor.
That's right.
Economics.
Right. Going right back to economics.
That's the foundation of the house.
Everything surrounds itself around economics, and how we don't have that general knowledge of it, and how we need to continue to put more emphasis behind it. Banks, learning finance, learning stocks and bonds, learning everything that's going around when it comes down to learning money and being smart about it, you know? For real. Because once we learn about money and we learn the real true value of it, ain't nothing can stop us.
At all.
Absolutely. Man.
But it's enough going around collectively where we learning it a little bit at a time. And then now we just need to find out where all of these individuals are operating at, and start interacting together, right? So we could build that network a little bit stronger. But it's gonna happen all in due time.
Absolutely,
it's happening.
Man.
It's happening as we speak.
Yeah,
right.
Absolutely.
It's happening now. And as we continue to get more understanding on the need for us to work together to control our own politics, right? Because we got to mature politically. We have to.
That goes back to it.
So economic floor, right? And then political contributions, right? Because that's the way we really gonna see change.
You're right. And you're right. And we
don't got enough skin in the game right now.
We do have some leaders on that, but we'll continue to make sure that we train and develop more.
Absolutely.
That. Yeah,
right.
Yeah, man. So,
and it's a great time to talk about that, maturing politically.
Yeah, absolutely. Right? Absolutely, man. So this episode was pretty good, man.
It was long.
Yeah, man. We
did an hour.
Good. We did nice. Was it an hour?
It's been an hour.
Oh, man.
Almost. Where we at? 40 minutes. That's close enough to an hour.
40 minutes.
That was a real good episode.
Yeah. Well, thanks for tuning in, everybody. My name is Malcolm Yates,
and I'm Andrew Nelson.
This is The Narrative.
This is my heritage. All I'm inheriting money.